In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this oversized shirt pattern. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. Now to draft this pattern, we are going to start drafting from the back pattern of the dress. So we need our shoulder to bust, waist and blouse length. The next step I'll take is to mark my shoulder divided by 2 and mark. Now you notice on the shoulder of this dress, it is more than the actual shoulder. Now the shoulder of this dress extends towards the sleeve of the dress. What you're going to do is place a tape at your shoulder, measure where you want it to stop at your sleeve. I added extra 3.5 inches, and from here I'll come down by 1 inch. After that, I'll mark a basic neckline of 3 inches, and after that I'll go ahead to place my ruler, connect from that point. Now this 3.5 inches is not a standard, you can also use 4 inches. And at this point, I marked a basic neckline of 3 by 1 inch for the back pattern. After connecting at this point, it's time to take our measurement. Now let's go ahead to find our chest line. To get your chest line is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and I will mark. Now this is an oversized shirt pattern and you're not going to use your actual chest line. Add extra 1 to 2 inches depending on how free you want the armhole to be. So for me, I added extra 2. If you feel the 2 is too big, reduce it to 1.5. Now, whatever you have on that shoulder, go ahead to take the measurement. That is your shoulder plus the extension that you added. Go ahead to mark it at that your chest line. Now, if your new armhole exceeds your shoulder to bust line, it is still okay, right? Now this is an oversized shirt pattern. Then go ahead to draw a straight line connecting from the shoulder to the chest line. Divide what you have there into 2 and mark. Now after marking, come in by 1/2 inch, then connect from here to that 1/2 inch. Whatever you're connecting at this point shouldn't be that curvy. At the bust line, I'll go back and mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Then add an extension. I'm adding 3 inches to my pattern. That is what I want for ease. Then I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance. Now I'll connect my pattern to where my bust circumference divided by 4 stopped, plus the extra 3 inches, then leaving the 1 inch allowance, because my armhole curve does not extend to the armhole allowance. Here, mark your hip circumference divided by 4, add the extra 3 inches, then add 1 inch for ease or sewing allowance. Now after that, place your ruler and go ahead to connect. For this pattern, you don't really need your waist measurement, but if you're going to add that, make sure that it doesn't look fitted on the waist. Now I went up by 1.5 and I will connect because the shirt has a little curve, right? Now after that, I'm done drafting the back. What I'll do is to go ahead to cut it out. After cutting this out, I'm going to use this to draft the front pattern of this shirt. All I'll do is just to place my pattern on it and I will trace it out. For the front part, I added a button allowance. For your button allowance, use 2 to 2.5 inches, right? This is just a pattern and I'm just using 1 inch, but if you're drafting, add extra 2 to 2.5. Now what I will do is to go ahead to trace out the sides and the lower part of this pattern. So there's no come down from the front to the back for this pattern. There's a joining at the shoulder. Now I'll go ahead to cut this out. That is after I'm done tracing it out round, I'll just cut the excess out. Now I'll mark a basic neckline of 3 by 3 inches and I will go ahead to place my curve drill to connect. Now after connecting, I'll chop that out. That is basically what you need for this shirt pattern. Now after I'm done cutting this out, the next step I'll take is to go ahead. Let's say you're making this shirt now. You go ahead to like fold in your button allowance and stitch it. Then join the front to the back. So what I'll do is to place my pattern and then take the measurement. Let's say we have joined this and we folded the button allowance. Take the round measurement of your shirt from one side. Now what I have on my pattern after measuring is 9.5 inches. So this 9.5 is times 2, right, round the neckline. So let's say you're cutting your pattern on fold. The total round neckline is 19 inches. That is why we have 9.5 on fold. So I marked out this 9.5 inches. Now we are trying to cut out the collar. I'll mark the midpoint of 9.5 inches here. I'll come up by ½ inch. Now connect from that ½ inch on top to this point. I'm doing this so that the collar will relax very well at the back. Now from here, I'm cutting the collar stand. I'll mark 1 inch here and 1 inch. So for your shirt collar, you can cut it separately, your collar stand and the collar, or you can do a single collar together. That is the collar stand and the collar together. From this point, I'll go in by 1 inch and I'll make a curve here. Now after that, I'm going to go ahead to just cut out the excess I have here so that it won't be too confusing. Now from that 1 inch I went in, I'll draw a straight line. At the side, I'm going to go up by 2 inches and come up by 3 inches here. Now I'll go ahead to connect this. After I'm done connecting this, what I'll do is to come out by ½ inch here and I'll extend this back and then go ahead to connect it and trace it out. So this is just the easiest way to cut out your collar without going through any much process or stress. Now if you cut it this way, it's a single collar. Now if you want to cut out the collar stand and the collar differently and join it together, you can go ahead to do so. So next, let's go ahead to cut out this sleeve. So I marked out ½ inch, which is the starting line. Now remember, on this shirt we added extra 2 inches to our chest line. Now you have to have that in mind also. What I'm going to mark now is my sleeve cap height. So for my sleeve cap height, to get it is your bust circumference divided by 12 plus 0.5 inches. Mine is 3.25, but because this is an oversized shirt pattern, I'm using 8 inches because we added extra 2 inches to our armhole, right? So now what I'll do here is round my armhole is 8 inches, but I'm not going to use that 8 inches. I'll add extra 2 inches to it and mark 10 inches here. Then another thing you need to have in mind is that extension we added to the shoulder makes up part of your sleeve. So now let's say if your actual sleeve length is 10 inches, if you added 3 inches extension, you will minus 3 inches from it and your shirt sleeve will now be 7 inches. I placed my ruler and connected from this point to the other point. Now what I'll do is to go ahead to divide what I have here into 2. Now from that point that I divided into 2 again, I'll fold again and I will mark. So after marking at this point, I'll place and then fold again. Now I'll come down by ½ inch, go up by ½ inch here. I'll go ahead to connect from here to this point, to the midpoint, then to that ½ inch I went here, then to the sleeve round measurement. So I'll place my tape and measure what I have here is roughly 10.2 inches and I'll place. What I have here is 10.3 inches, which is not bad. You can just trace it out, like remove the extra 1 inch. Now I'll just connect what I have there all the way down as my round sleeve measurement. But you can go ahead to take measurement of what your round sleeve is and connect. Also remember to add ½ inch on top to connect. That will serve as a joining allowance to your sleeve, and I'll go ahead to cut this out and then join it to the shirt.